The latest technology. Dr. Snipper uses the Allegretta Wave and blade-free interlace technology. And with it, Dr. Snipper has earned a prestigious reputation for his success in LASIK. You need to call 355-5555 right now and make an appointment to see Dr. Snipper or log on to drsnipper.com.
Want to drive a real, authentic tank? For your chance to win a once-in-a-lifetime tank driving experience package for you and 3 friends from tankamerica.com, text the word TANK to the 1010XL text line at 641-1010.
Are you looking to grow your career? Good news, Chick-fil-A restaurants in your area are hiring and have what you are looking for, unique opportunities and excellent benefits. Chick-fil-A operators are known for investing in their team members through things like mentorship and coaching, leadership development, and competitive pay. Don't miss the chance to be part of your local Chick-fil-A team. Apply today by visiting your local Chick-fil-A or apply online. Most Chick-fil-A restaurants are operated by independent franchise owners. Chick-fil-A, an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, poker fans! Summer is upon us, and the Best Bet Summer Swing Tournament Series will be hot in June. From June 1st through the 25th, the Summer Swing will feature all 3 Best Bet locations from St. Augustine, Orange Park, and Jacksonville, with summit tournaments and guaranteed events from $30,000 up to $100,000. Catch the action starting with the Bet 1, a $300 no-limit hold'em at Best Bet St. Augustine. Visit bestbetjacks.com for more details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and I said yes to Yas, Dr. Mitchell Yas, and the Yas Method. Now, I know you've probably tried medications, treatments, injections, even surgery. Maybe the reason you're still in pain is because they're treating the wrong thing and not addressing the root causes. Well, I know from personal experience, this does happen. But I found the best-kept secret in pain elimination, Dr. Yas and the Yas Method. Call him today, 904-906-YASS, and say yes to Yas.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. A major story today in the world of golf. The PGA Tour is partnering with the LIV Golf Tour. PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan spoke with CNBC and the Golf Channel this morning.
Listen, I think today is a historical day for the PGA Tour and the game of golf. And it's a historical day for the PIF and the DP World Tour. You know, there's been a lot of tension in our sport over the last couple of years. But what we're talking about today is coming together to unify the game of golf.
PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan. Coming up tomorrow morning, firstdowntownjacksonville.com is where you can go. The Jaguars are going to give you a little bit of a glimpse into the Stadium of the Future tomorrow morning. 85 degrees at 6:02. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, get ready to spend the next 2 hours with our 3 sports-loving ladies. Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Mia O'Brien.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Driven by Tire Outlet.
Brought to you by Underwood Jewelers.
On 1010XL.
It's a Tuesday night, so that means the ladies are hanging out with you, both on your show, Mia, and certainly a ton on the Frangie show. We talked all about LIV and the PGA Tour, quote-unquote, merger and all that stuff. We're going to get away from that for a while. We may circle back to it later in the show, but I do want to talk a ton of football, and I think listeners certainly got to weigh in, and everybody's gotten hours and hours to digest all of that golf stuff. So let's get it to the sport that we all absolutely love. We got an email earlier. Well, I got an email earlier. Mia maybe did not. Taylor, did you get the email?
I did. Yeah.
Okay, most of us got the email earlier that the Jaguars will show everyone the Stadium of the Future renderings tomorrow on firstdowntownjacksonville.com or on the Jaguars social channels. That is 3 years in the making, and it will be enhancing all of downtown or part of downtown Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. So to me, I'm thinking that we're going to see the stadium rendering and also potentially the parking lot of Lot J, also that whole complex area downtown, also we're going to see renderings of that, and it's going to be a total package to transform that area that we know for years now needs to be, both the stadium needs to be renovated and that area could certainly be upgraded.
Yeah, and I think honestly, it's a great idea. We talk a lot about, you know, what the Braves did in Atlanta, and it's great for people that want to go to the football games, but I think also it brings people out there that may not typically go to a normal Sunday game, but they're like, hey, there's this new stuff, I want to go check it out, and then they end up at a Jags game too, or they have such a great time that it becomes a whole every weekend thing, and they're out there, and it's a full day experience. And I know for most people it already is, because if you're going for the football game, you're going to tailgate, and you're going to be at your tailgate cooking out with your friends and whatever. But when they're expanding it to make it this whole thing downtown with music venues and restaurants and bars and all of these other things that you can do on game day and not on game day, it just makes it a full experience. And I think it's a really good idea, because we know there's definitely some upgrades that need to be done downtown. There's, for a lot of people, not a whole lot of reason to go downtown. This gives them reason to go downtown.
There's also, at the very least, there's a report out there regarding the fairgrounds potentially being connected with the UF grad school that the city of Jacksonville and the state of Florida already has a partnership of sorts in the early stages with. And what I think would be fascinating about bringing that to the stadium district would just be, now you're looking at that space not just as a, well, what do you do with it during football season? You're looking at that as there are people there year-round 365, which you would hope there would be with the baseball team of the Jumbo Shrimp, of course, and then also the hockey team. You would anticipate
concerts, all
right? You would expect there,
you
would expect there to be people year round. But by putting that there, that would truly ensure that you have a commitment to that area, and you have people milling around in that area every single day of the year and benefiting and bringing dollars in tourism and revenue just by patronizing those restaurants and those venues and the shops and living in those apartments. Because then you would have something that's a year-round affair. Not that football isn't, but that certainly would be.
Right. I think, going downtown recently for the Zach Bryan concert, the area, and I think there was also another event going on at the same time, the area gets super populated, and we don't have enough infrastructure to support everyone who wants to spend time downtown. And so whether or not that part of it is included, we know for sure that the stadium needs to be renovated or a new stadium needs to be built. One of those two things need to happen. And they have decided that the Jaguars have decided, I think, that the best course of action is to renovate the existing stadium because the bones are still good, and they can make it with shade for everyone, protection from sun, protection from rain, obviously all the new amenities that a lot of new stadiums have. And I'm very excited to see what it looks like.
Me too.
Because we've obviously had a traditional stadium here since, goodness, I don't even know. What year was TIAA Bank, the original building, built? Would it have been like the 60s?
The Gator Bowl?
Yeah, the Gator Bowl. Or has it been before that? Because we've had the Gator Bowl here longer, I think, than the 60s. So maybe even before that.
Yeah.
So the original building.
1928.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay, so even, well before that.
1927.
But all but a
built.
small portion was raised in 1994.
So, yeah, it certainly has seen some changes since 1928, but
thankfully.
Right, exactly. But there are a lot of issues with the current stadium, and we all know that. And I think when people talk about, well, you should just build a new stadium, it's not that simple.
Yeah. Well, there's many things that go into it, and obviously we've talked about it a ton over the months of, recently it's more so been, okay, what happens during that time when they are renovating, because obviously the Jags will probably have to go somewhere else, and that's a conversation that will be had. But at the end of the day, it is going to just be a full experience for people, and I think it's the right time to do it because we're in this shift of momentum in the Jaguars organization, I feel like, and obviously with Trevor Lawrence and the Doug Peterson and everything that you feel like there's this shift, and it's the perfect time to do it because people are going to want to go to the Jags football games now. And I think there were years where they're like, man, like, maybe it's not the time because there's a lot of not good going on, and now there's a lot of good. So it adds like even more incentive to get this place up and new and make fans want to come out there. And like I said, you will get your everyday fans. Everyday diehard Jags fans are going to go to that stadium no matter what. If there's shade, no shade. If it's raining, if it's 105 degrees, they don't care. But the NFL is a lot of ones being like, hey, let's go to the Jags game today. And an average fan is not going to go if they don't have certain amenities that they want there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Mia, yesterday was the third OTA open to media, the seventh OTA total for the Jaguars. What stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, at this point in time, I don't want to say they all kind of blend together because that's more like the 8th or 9th practice of training camp. I tried
At
to.
least there's pads in training camp.
Yeah, correct. I tried to pay a little bit more attention to the defense after following the offense a bit more closely the previous 2 open OTAs. And so, I just go over to the defense and I go back to, I understand that Josh Allen has every right in the world to not be there during this voluntary portion of the offseason program. But I look at that outside linebacker room, especially knowing what Doug Peterson said yesterday, that Trayvon Walker will have the versatility to go inside and outside this upcoming season because he has that versatility. And I look at the rest of that room, and I just go, oh, boy, you're banking on a lot of question marks. And that's okay because they're there every day. The coaches, the personnel, the executives, the scouting department, they are there every day. Maybe they see a trajectory for a Jordan Smith that we do not see. Maybe they say...
Oh, you're saying the Jags have a lot of question marks.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They see Yasir Abdullah, and they say he's ahead of schedule. He will be a major contributing factor this year. They see Deshaun Dixon, and they say he was an undrafted guy who made the 53-man roster a year ago, was pretty much a healthy scratch most weeks, but we think he can contribute. He could be a guy who steps up in year 2. We don't see that because we're not there every single day, but I just look at that room, and it's not really, if you are so committed to running the 3-4 and rushing the passer next to playing quarterback is the most paramount position in the game of football, it's just not cutting it right now. And while I didn't see them making a play for Leonard Floyd, at least not at this stage of the game, I expect personally, independent of what Doug Peterson may have said yesterday, I would think they're going to get through this offseason program. They're going to get through, the next week and a half, 2 weeks or so. They'll see who's out on the open market just before training camp starts, and that's where you might see them bring in a Justin Houston or go for one of those veteran guys. I don't see a Yannick Ngakoue waiting that long, but perhaps he will.
Now, what about from Josh Allen's perspective of this? Because obviously you don't know. This is just a hypothetical type of question, but we're talking about the Jags having a lot of questions. Now, Josh Allen obviously is coming up on a season, a very much prove-it season if he wants a contract from the Jags or anybody. And so it's interesting to me that he's kind of playing it out this way. But also, Mia, do you think he could possibly be kind of looking at that room and being like, I'm fine, like that's my spot?
And maybe that's it. I mean, we've thrown out a lot of theories. And again, I don't see a huge deal. I think it's a huge deal just because everybody else is there.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you had some other veterans who had opted to maybe show up for 1 or 2 OTAs, but not all of them, then, maybe we're not talking about it with the obsession that some folks are. And that's okay. Like, I don't know what the path is that he's following, but I'm pretty confident he will show up on Monday. And if he isn't, then I guess we'll have to have a larger conversation. And to your point, and I just keep going back to, he was at OTAs the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures and everybody I talked to on the street wasn't happy with the production from Josh Allen the past 2 years. So he's trying something different, perhaps.
Yeah, I think he's working his butt off, and I think it's just not here in Jacksonville. I think this is a guy who is dedicated. He knows how important this year is, and let's be honest, these OTAs, Mia just said they all kind of run together. Do you think the coaches really think these OTAs are necessary for the team to win in January and February? No, I don't think so. Yeah. I think they're helpful, but we're seeing other teams cancel mandatory minicamp. The Jags canceled it last year. We're seeing teams cancel part of the OTAs. I don't think that this part of it is very critical to success. So I think they may believe that Josh Allen is bettering himself wherever he's working than to be here. I mean, that's certainly possible.
It could be that
he may have pads on wherever he is and be learning certainly more unique and very technical pass rush moves. Like, I give him the benefit of the doubt because of the fact that he has always worked his butt off. Is he as supremely talented as the 7th overall pick would say? Maybe not. But certainly I think he has always showed us that football is his utmost commitment.
Or maybe they did say to him, because according to Mike Caldwell and Doug Peterson, he's had constant communication with Bill Shuey. Maybe Bill said to him, I have such a young group at that position, I'm going to be teaching most of the time. That's part of why Trayvon is spending half of the day with Coach Buckner, because I have to be teaching this group. And so maybe they said that to him.
Well, don't you think that would be something Doug would say, though, to us? Like, hey, he said very vaguely, like, hey, we've had conversation. He's been in constant texting conversation with so-and-so and blah, blah, blah. But he never came out and was like, yeah, we've decided this is best for him. He's doing this, this, and this. And I feel like we would get a little bit more, but not saying Josh Allen's not doing anything. I just think that in a room that is lacking and has a lot of question mark of the leadership side, that's where I think this would come into play. Because, yes, maybe some of these guys do need coaching, but they need coaching from that. But they also need coaching from players sometimes of, like, what to expect this season. And there is a lot of young guys on that side of the ball. So my question's more lean towards that because we saw it last year, and we kind of questioned Doug's way of when he canceled the mandatory side of things last year. And we're like, oh, gosh, what is that going to mean? And then when they had that slump in the middle of the season, made jokes about, okay, well, maybe it was because they didn't have this mandatory camp. For me, it's more of when everybody else is there and everybody else is putting in this effort of being like, hey, let's figure out who's the leaders on this team. We can win our division. Everybody's talking about it right now. And you not being there looks a little bad to me. I'm not saying you're not putting in work. It's just I feel like you're the one. You're the only one.
I don't think leaders are born in or developed in OTAs. I think they're developed in training camp and certainly during the season. I think OTAs are so incredibly simplified that, to me, Trevor's an obvious leader, sure, and there are obvious leaders on the team. But I think overall, it's way more when it gets really tough.
Yeah.
I think when they're just out in their shorts and t-shirts, right, and they're just kind of running around.
Yeah.
I don't get the sense, at least that's from my perspective, I don't get the sense that the team now is not going to look up to Josh Allen the way that they would. I really believe that he might be working harder wherever he is than what they're doing in this phase of the offseason. All right, we've got more to do. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, driven by Tire Outlet. We've got our music theme to unveil, and it is an interesting one and a great story from Taylor Dahl coming up next on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Summer on the First Coast.
Well, I'm above in the sun and I'm having fun.
Is sensational. That's the sound of sunshine.
I got my toes in the sand. All I need is
1010XL, your summertime fun station.
Now at Hodges Mazda, embrace every unexpected turn in a new 2023 Mazda CX-30. Lease a new 2023 Mazda CX-30 for only $259 a month. Lauren Brooks here. No matter where your path leads, the Mazda CX-30 is made to help you follow it. Plus, all vehicle purchases come with 2 years free maintenance. The sales staff works on salary, not commission, allowing Hodges Mazda to put your best interest first. That's the Hodges Mazda difference. Visit them online at HodgesMazda.com. See dealer for details. $2,999 due at lease. Signing terms and fees for qualified lessees. 36-month lease expires July 5th, 2023.
People ask me sometimes, is it really cooler with Bueller? You see, here at Bueller, we really believe in creating an awesome work environment, and we treat our employees like gold. In return, we ask them to treat our customers that same way. It's our simple recipe for outstanding customer service. I'm Jason Bueller. If you want to experience the Stay Cooler with Bueller level of service, give us a call today or visit BuellerAir.com.
Bueller Air. Stay cooler with Bueller.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. You've heard us talk about it. Window World, the #1 window replacement company in the USA, selling over 1 million windows each year for the past 8 years.
That's a lot of satisfied customers and why J.D. Powers has awarded Window World Best in Customer Satisfaction 3 out of 4 years.
Window World stands behind their slogan, simply the best for less. With Window World, you get top quality windows at a price that leaves more of your money in your bank account, and you get the absolute best guarantee there is in the window replacement industry. When compared to our competition, there is none. See for yourself. Call the competition. Get quotes from them. But before you buy, get Window World's free estimate and compare the quality of the windows and the price.
You'll see.
And when your new Window World windows are installed and they're saving you money on your energy bills, if anything goes wrong with those windows, Window World and I will be there to make it right. That's my guarantee.
Call Window World today. Start saving money on your new windows and your energy bills and take vacation with your savings. Window World, online at windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors and siding.
Bridging the gap between the First Coast and the Swamp.
Gators.
I'm Taylor Dahl. Join me for the Gator Report on 1010XL as I break down the latest storylines in Gator Nation.
Brought to you by Darley's Plumbing, where quality counts on 1010XL.
Catch a wave to the Jacksonville Sharks for their fight against the Fayetteville Mustangs this Saturday, June 10th, 7 o'clock at the VyStar Arena. With tickets as low as $15, you cannot find this kind of affordable fun anywhere else. It's Hawaiian night in the Shark Tank. Stay for the post-game auction to win our Hawaiian Sharks jerseys. Kids, 6 to 16, sign up for a chance to dance with our junior attack dance team. Shark Tank, this Saturday, June 10th, 7 o'clock at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Call 904-621-0700 or check out jackssharks.com. Fins up!
Why live with foot or ankle pain? If you have persistent pain, numbness, tingling, burning pain on the bottom of your foot, or swelling that doesn't improve with home treatment, it may be time to see Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Our foot and ankle specialists have innovative new options to help you get back in the swing of things without persistent pain that slows you down. Call JOI 2000 or go to joionline.net for an appointment.
Tired of the same old places for happy hour? Downtown's best is at Bellwether. It's Tuesday through Saturday from 4 to 7, with the exception on Friday when happy hour starts at 11 because why not? For all you late-nighters, Bellwether offers nightcap specials on Friday and Saturday from 9 to 11. Want a snack with your cocktail? Bellwether has a unique bar food spread. And guess what? All metered parking is free after 6 and weekends. That's Bellwether Downtown.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
At Andy's Automotive and Truck Services, they know that your company's fleet is more than just a bunch of cars and trucks. It's your livelihood, your reputation, your pride. So when you need routine fleet maintenance or emergency repairs, Andy's offers after-hours and mobile service to minimize your downtime and keep your fleet running like new. While you care for your employees and customers, rest assured Andy's Automotive will take care of your fleet. Visit the team at andysats.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville.
A couple guys in first class on a flight from New York to Los Angeles, kind of making small talk, killing time, flirting with the flight attendants. 30,000 feet above, could be Oklahoma.
A Tuesday night tradition in Duval.
Helmets and Heels.
Driven by Tire Outlet.
Brought to you by Underwood Jewelers.
On 1010XL.
Our songs tonight feature fears. Everyone's going to get to know what we're afraid of. I think most people know already. I have a fear of flying. And this song called Fly Over States by Jason Aldean, it has nothing to do with a fear of flying. But every time I hear this song, I get those.
I was like, do you have a fear of
chills.
Indiana?
No, but he talks about the flyover states, obviously, like he said, on a flight.
I have a fear of the Midwest and living there or being from there in general.
Being trapped in Iowa or
I was gonna say,
Never seen the ocean.
She's heard enough about it, so even if she's never been.
You get the worst weather, cold and hot.
That is very
And
true.
Brian Ferentz is your offensive coordinator.
Yeah, 11-point game.
Scary. That is scary.
Yeah, I can understand that fear for sure, JJ. So the song theme came up about fears. And by the way, we fly next month. I am counting down the days, and instead of direct flights to Nashville, we have to make a connection. And that, for me, is one of the worst things. Like, I can tell myself everything's going to be okay as long as the flight's nonstop. But those dang connections really screw me up. And so, yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, though.
Then
But
you have to go through the whole process.
Correct.
Like, again.
Correct 4 times. I have
Yeah.
to go through all of that. Yes, 4 times total, obviously. Twice.
If anyone would like to drop off Xanax to our station, it's 9090 Hogan Road.
No, now we're 9117.
Oh, sorry.
It's going to
We
end up
haven't been there in a
across the street in the woods. Yeah,
It
no.
does seem like drug deals happen over there. across the street,
100%,
though.
and that has been confirmed to me by a police officer. But I will say the whole Xanax thing. Like, I have had a medical professional tell me, like, they make stuff for that,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, oh, but here's the thing. I have a system where I can drink some Chardonnay and I'm fine.
Yeah,
and
mix a
then I don't-
Xanax with that, then you're
And that's what I don't want to do.
a sloppy
right.
mess. Asked to
Correct.
leave the plane, man.
Exactly. I don't want to be that person. I
Miss
don't
the
wanna be-
layover, like something.
Right. I don't want to be a
the
certain
next one.
character on Ted Lasso that I will not reveal for people who haven't seen the finale. But I will say, like, I do understand people who need that, and I probably should take that, but because my system involves wine, I'm not going to do that. And this time, our flights to Nashville, I do not have to work after either flight.
Oh, good.
Before, right, when we've gone on work trips, sometimes I've had to work, and so I can't use my system, and I probably should use the Xanax. Either way, let's get to, Taylor, the reason we came up with this music theme is because you recently faced a fear, well, sort of.
Yes, I actually did. So, if you've listened to the show, you probably know. If not, I'm terrified of birds. It started very young and has just like progressively gotten worse. Like the older I've gotten, the worse the fear has gotten.
I think that happens with everything.
Yeah, and maybe because, I don't know, I've had more experiences to make me scared, like crazy seagulls at the beach and like other circumstances that have happened.
And what made you afraid of birds from when you were younger?
It honestly, like, I can't remember when it first started because I don't remember not being scared of birds, but I do remember, and I think I've mentioned this on here too, that my grandpa raced pigeons growing up. And if you don't know what racing pigeons are, long story short, pretty much they like train these pigeons and you take them a little bit at a time, like farther and farther away from home, and then you release them. And when the faster your pigeon gets back home, you make money off this. It's a big thing up in like
I have
the
never
Midwest.
Heard of this.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
it's a very like urban city thing.
It's like a lot of retired people up there. They get bored and they get pigeons, and then it's like you can make really good money doing it. My grandpa did it I don't ever remember him not having pigeons, but that spiked it too because he would take me into these coops of just like hundreds of pigeons where it was just like poop everywhere and they're just making all these crazy noises. When you'd walk in, they're just flying everywhere and landing on you, and it was just like a lot. And he loved them, so he loved birds in general. They also had like some sort of talking bird too, and that thing was terrifying. But
Parakeet?
no, it was a gray white African, I think it was called white African, something like that. But it was super smart, but creepy smart, this bird, because it would just full on have conversations and like. It was weird. But
I
anyways,
think I would be traumatized. I don't like birds either, and I think I'd be traumatized
after all
by
of
these
those
experiences.
situations.
Yeah.
Anytime I went to my grandparents' house, like the fear intensified during this time of growing up. So anyways, fast forward through just life, and it intensified to the point where I just don't like any bird now, other than maybe like a penguin I can deal with.
Maybe
they
a
don't,
penguin.
because they don't fly.
I couldn't imagine them attacking.
What about an
you.
ostrich?
But also, how
They're a
often
little
are you
waddle.
around penguins?
That's not often, but I do when I go to an aquarium or something and they have penguins. I like them. I think they're cute. Any other bird? Nope. The zoo, certain areas I just have to stay away from. But anyway, so it's just gotten worse. But I was house/dog sitting for my aunt over the weekend, and she also happens to have chickens. And I didn't think about this when she first asked me. And then when I went over to the house for her to show me everything, okay, this is what you do with the dogs. This is what this, she was like, oh yeah. And then the chickens. And I was like, oh gosh. And I didn't want to say anything because I was like, I don't want her to think that I'm just going to like neglect her chickens. Like I'll figure out a way to make this happen. I'll be brave for a few days.
You better
I'll handle
not
these
neglect
chickens.
the chickens because
He calls the chicken police on me.
How often do chickens need to be fed?
They eat a lot. First of all, I did not realize how much they eat and drink. For these little tiny mouths, these things chug water like no other. So anyway, she shows me, she goes out, and she also is, because they're home a lot more than she knows I am. Like I'm at work for my 8-hour day. She works from home, and so she's kind of in and out. But So she was like, we have several feeders and several water containers. So they should be good for, a little bit, but probably every other day you'll have to go in. And I was there for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 5 days. And so she was like, probably every other day you'll have to feed them and then just check the water daily. If it's empty, fill it. If it's not, whatever, you'll be good. And I'm like, okay. That sounds pretty easy, but inside I was like, this is going to be terrible. So she takes me out to the coop, and immediately she's like, this is her one chicken, Daisy or something. And I was like, Daisy's a big chicken, like huge. Oh, actually, when I get there, Daisy's running around the yard, just being crazy. And I was like, does she just run loose? And she's like, oh, no, we'll put her in the coop. We don't let them loose like that anymore when we're not here because all of our last chickens got attacked.
Corralling?
Yeah, no way. And she goes, first of all, we don't want you to chase them. Second of all, they got attacked by hawks and killed almost all of our last chickens. So they had to get all new chickens. So Daisy was the only survivor from the chicken massacre that happened recently.
Traumatized.
And then so the rest were kind of little. So that's what she was saying. She's like, this not little, like not chicks, but like not
I shouldn't
massive.
be laughing at chicken massacre. Chickens die every day. Churches,
Delicious.
Okay, I didn't realize that a hawk would take a live chicken and just pick it
and
up.
she said they decapitated them. Like, this is too much for radio, I guess. But
Let me tell you something real gross about chickens, okay?
Okay.
I worked in a chicken coop for a while. So the second they're friends, like the whole day, they're hanging out, whatever. The second one of them gets hurt, starts bleeding or whatever, they'll peck it to death and eat it.
Yeah, see, I don't trust
very
birds.
weird.
I don't trust birds, chickens. I don't trust them. So, anyways,
awful.
continuing on, she's showing me the
Cannibals.
coop. The other ones, the big chickens, looking kind of crazy. The other, like, medium-sized chickens, she's like, they won't bother you. They're still pretty skittish. So this is what you have to do. And she, like, opens the coop, and there's, like, a water thing in the middle. She's like, just fill this. They have a little, what looks like a picnic table, and you just, like, spread the feed and the picnic table, which is also gross because it's, like, little, like, a bunch of seeds and stuff, but also little, like, maggot worm things.
Ew.
That's so gross, yeah. So, anyways, I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is just not going to go very well. But I'll do it. It's, like, for my aunt. She's paying me also during this time, so I can't just, like, let her chickens die or, like, escape while I'm here. And so, anyways, the first day goes by. They're good. I'm kind of, like, peeking from far away, and I'm like, okay, the water's full, the food's full. And then on Friday, I get home, and the water's, like, gone. And I was like, oh, gosh. So I tried to do it. I really did. And I walk up to the coop, and you also have to, like, walk in and bungee it behind you because if not, the big chicken will escape. So you're, like, locked in there. Like, it's not even like I'm –
This
it's
is
just
a nightmare scenario.
I know. So,
I can't believe you agreed to do this.
I know. So I'm sitting there, and first time I unlock, and as soon as I unlock it, like the big chicken, like immediately runs over and is just glaring me down. I mean, just staring at me, not moving, and I'm like, go, like I'm kind of like hitting the bottom of the coop to try to scare her to like run away. She's not running. The rest are. All the smaller ones are in a corner like hiding. She is not. She was like, I want my water. I want my fresh food. Like, what are you doing? So I opened it, and the moment I opened it, she starts sticking her head out. I was like, this isn't going to work. So I locked the door. I take a picture of the food, and I was like, is this, like, all of her food, or does she need the, like, maggot worm things? And my aunt was like, well, you do need to refill that. That should be good for a day. And I was like, okay. So I call my friend Matt immediately, which is my best friend's husband, and I was like, I can't do this. I really tried. And I had already told him the situation that I may be calling him. And so he came over, helped me, fed the chickens, did the water, whatever. They were good. And so I was like, all right, I'll be good until like Sunday now. And then I come back on Saturday. They drank all the water again. That's what I was like, these things were chugging the water.
3042 on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures, wants to know, does Taylor eat chicken still?
I love chicken. I'll eat it. No, I'm not going to catch it and kill it, though. But anyway, so, yeah, Saturday I go, water's empty. I was like, I'm going to have to do this because I can't let these chickens be thirsty. And so it was honestly one of the scariest moments of my life because I waited until she ran because they have a really big coop. So there's like the main area and then there's like a little hallway that goes to their like little mansion thing over to the side. And so the rest of the little ones that ran away, the big chicken runs down the hallway and it was just kind of standing over there, kind of looking at me. But I did this like as fast as I humanly possibly could, and I opened the door. I didn't bungee it. I just kind of closed it. So I was like, if this chicken gets
You were brave.
I was like, so I just closed the door enough to where I could run. I like leaned over, stretch as far as I could, grab the water, like close it and go. fill up the water, do the same thing getting in. Luckily, she didn't come back up. I didn't. And I was like, okay, I'm very proud of myself. And then on Sunday, I had to put food and water. I did it. And she is just a fatty. And so the moment I walk in with
Now
the
we're fat
food.
shaming Daisy, the large chicken.
The moment she sees the bag of food, she's just standing there and will not let me. So I'm pouring it. She's standing on the thing, like pecking at the food as I'm like pouring this food in.
And you did it?
I did it.
How did you not call Madigan?
It was terrible because they couldn't come on Sunday, and I couldn't not like. I just
I
had
can't
to.
do it on the Lord's Day.
Chick-fil-A's closed. But I did it. It was honestly
I'm
so
so
I was
proud
like
of you.
sweating. I'm sweating now telling the story. That's how scared I was. But I like walked out and the two dogs are just standing at like wagging their tails and I was like, I did it. I made it. But that was terrifying. And my aunt also has cameras out there like on the chickens and on the thing and I was like, you're gonna have fun videos to watch when you get back.
So now that you know that JJ used to work in a chicken coop,
yes, I should have called JJ.
Shouldn't you have called him to come
Expert.
help you?
Now she knows.
They used to call me Chicken Jit because I was very young.
On that note,
That is hilarious.
Well, next time your aunt needs a dog/chicken sitter,
oh my gosh,
have her call JJ.
She was like, I was terrified of the chickens when I first got them, but she's a sweetheart, I promise. And I was like, she was staring me down, like waiting. She also there was several eggs though, so she was a busy lady over the weekend, and she was the only one right now that can have eggs, so she was busy. But I was like, I guess that's why you're so thirsty.
Yeah, she's got childbirth all the time. Did you get to eat any of the eggs?
No, I did not. Well, that's I think all she has in the house. Like all the eggs they get are from her chickens. But that's what my aunt was like. Our chicken massacre killed all our chickens that could make the eggs. So now we only have one. So she was like she only makes like 2 a week, but she made like several over the weekend.
That's
so.
because she was terrified of you and you were terrified of her. I don't think I could have done it. I'm really proud of you because I think I would have backed out and been like, nope. Is there a neighbor that has done this before? Because I certainly cannot. When we come back, we'll get it to a quick story about Russell Okung as well as some Trevor Lawrence sound from yesterday. You listen to Hummus and Heels, driven by Tire Outlet on Tintin XL 92.5 FM.
They get up early every morning to help you start your day with sports and a smile.
That is a good cup of joe.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Good morning.
Kinda like a cup of radio coffee. Mornings on 1010XL.
Father's Day is coming up, and what better way to show your dad you care than with a gift from Woodcraft? Whether he's a diehard football fan or a golf enthusiast, we have the tools and supplies to help him create something he'll love. From personalized signs to custom golf club holders, the possibilities are endless. Plus, our experts are always here to help you with any project. So don't drop the ball this Father's Day. Head over to Woodcraft today. Woodcraft, the home of champion dads.
Saturday, June 24th, the UFC returns to Jacksonville. The heavy-handed Josh Emmett looks to turn back undefeated phenom Ilia Topuria. Plus, dangerous Brazilian Amanda Ribas takes on the future Macy Barber. Don't miss UFC Fight Night, Emmett versus Topuria, live from VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Quitting nicotine isn't easy, which is why Tobacco-Free Florida offers free tools and services like free 2-week starter kits of Quit Aids. We're also trying out music to help motivate smokers to quit.
Not another cigarette would be late. Now there's someone living tobacco-free. It's you.
Wow. Okay. Maybe we'll just stick to the ways we know work. Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com or call 1-877-YOU-CAN-NOW for free nicotine patches.
Did you know that all graduates of Local 234's apprenticeship program are licensed journeymen? That means all plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC techs will have hundreds of hours of experience and have passed the Jacksonville City Licensed Journeyman exam. They're the best trained and safest skilled tradespeople in the industry. Don't leave yourself exposed to inadequate workmanship or even danger. Always hire a licensed journeyman. Local 234. Make the right connection. Equal opportunity employer.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it. they do it, whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Hey Jacksonville, this is Crystal, COO with Remedy Staffing. As employers, labor trends continue to keep us guessing. Is the job market strong? And what is worker availability going to look like? Well, February's BLS job report indicated that we have a hot job market and that Jacksonville's unemployment rate is 2.5%, 1% lower than our national average. So if you're interested in workforce solutions and how our team can help you, please call or text me at 904-329-9802.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Whether you're undertaking a major home renovation or just a simple repair request, American Electrical is your 5-star Jacksonville-based electrician to get the work done right. Experienced design building department working seamlessly with their electrical contracting department to help you create beautiful lighting spaces and electrical plans that make your house flow. And remember, with American Electrical, it's wired right at a fair price. Call American Electric at 737-7770. Look for that red, white, and blue eagle on the side of their truck, and you'll know it's American Electrical.
Beaches Jewelry and Pawn is ready to help. If you need extra cash or a quick loan, Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash in hand. They also love to buy items of value. They need gold, silver coins, and flatware, jewelry, guitars, and of course, guns.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and Triumph is such a hardy, big, beautiful bike. If they come into the showroom, what can they find?
You're going to find everything from the modern classics, the Trident, the Scramblers, bobbers. We've got it all.
And inventory is always changing, right?
It is always changing. It's fluctuating fast. If you see it, you better get it.
So come on into the showroom. That's the easiest way. Or log on to cyclesofjacksonville.com. They're on Atlantic near Regency. That's Cycles of Jacksonville.
If you want to get into broadcasting, 1010XL is partnering with the Broadcasters and Sportscasters Mentoring Group to offer on-air broadcast training to a select few. Find out how you can be mentored at getintobroadcasting.com. Getintobroadcasting.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville.
Standing on the border, looking out into the great unknown. I can feel my heart beating faster as I step out on my own.
A Tuesday night tradition in Duval.
Helmets and Heels.
Driven by Tire Outlet.
Brought to you by Underwood Jewelers.
On 1010XL.
LeAnn Rimes.
Me.
Taylor.
It was me.
But I don't get the fear of this one.
Well, I feel like the whole song's about like facing your fears, but on one part she literally says, "I won't let fear clip my wings," and
Oh, yeah, okay.
Tell me how
Oh,
high
so
I
now
can
you like
fly.
wings?
About like leaving,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get it.
moving.
Yeah. But I also, so that one line is what like popped in my head.
I get it.
For it. And it was ironic because it had about wings. And it
It's
said,
so-
I'll look an eagle in the eye, which I will not. So.
Just a painting of an eagle. That's all. If you missed it, Taylor just broke down her fear and facing her fear of birds, especially chickens, this past weekend. If you missed it, certainly go to On Demand after the show is over, and you can hear the full detailed report of how she did. Mia, we're not going to get to your song just yet, but what is the biggest fear you've had to face?
Oh, no, you need to wait for mine.
Okay, all right.
It requires a story.
Excellent tease.
It requires a story.
Okay, we will get to that in
LeAnn
just a little
Rimes,
bit.
40 years old.
Really?
That scared me.
That is scary.
Wait a minute.
I remember when she was like 16.
Yeah, that's
She's
what I'm
my
saying.
exact age.
No,
Why
but
does that scare
well,
everyone?
I don't remember listening to your
Oh.
songs as a
How Do I
young
Live
adult.
came out when she was 16.
She was it 16?
Yeah,
I thought
she
it was 14.
She was very
Yeah,
young.
either
She
way.
was very young, yeah. And I remember thinking,
love her.
I do not look or sound like her, but I am certainly belting this from my
going to
car,
try.
my parents' car at the time. Yeah, I've always loved Leanne Rimes. She's married to an actor now, right?
I think
I have no idea,
so.
honestly.
That's a good question.
I think she's married to an
She's
actor.
tweeting about the NBA Finals.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
there you go.
She's
Good
married
one.
to.
Oh no, that
Jean-
actually she was tweeting about the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
What was
I
she
guess
saying?
her team is
close enough.
Boston.
She's
Oh.
married to Eddie
Yeah, see?
Cibrian.
That's what I thought. He's an actor.
Yeah, he's in Sunset Beach and Third Walk. Oh, he's in The Young and the Restless.
So sort of an actor.
Who does he play? That's my show.
Matt Clark.
Oh my God.
I thought you were being sarcastic.
No,
no,
that's my girl's
revelation
show.
for JJ. See, I'm so glad I brought up that she's
Me
married
too.
to an
I'm
actor.
texting her right now.
She's from Mississippi, but it's her dad's name. Her parents' names are Wilbur and Belinda.
Oh my God.
That's
Like the
So
pig.
cute, Tess.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
Does everyone else, every single time they either hear or have to spell Mississippi, do it the way we were taught?
The song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the song. I
Well,
just do
there's
M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I.
M-I-S-S-I-P-P-I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
you have
M-I
to.
crooked letter. Did you guys do that one?
I've heard
Hump
that
back,
one.
hump
I
back,
didn't
eye,
do that
crooked
one.
That sounds like something you do in like remedial class.
No.
Nowadays,
It was like the
Luke
fun way of
swoop
doing
and pull
it.
off.
whether it's Outlook or Word, so many things now can finish your word for
Oh,
you,
yeah.
and you can just click tab.
Mhm.
Oh, it's just the greatest. thing.
Dangerous also, though, because I feel like now people are not going to know how to spell.
Well, that's very true. I can't
Because-
do math in my head. I literally am the person, like last week, I went to pay for something and I needed to add a tip and I had to pull my calculator out. And it wasn't that difficult of math, but that's how trained I am. So, yes, spelling is going to be the same way. All right, Russell Okung, former offensive lineman, told everyone how he lost weight. He lost over 100 pounds. And, of course, he said, everyone's asking me how. Well, yes, naturally, now that he no longer plays football. And he said he fasted for 40 days with nothing but water.
That is a fear for me.
That would absolutely go into a category of a fear for me, not having anything but water for 40 days. I honestly thought you would die if you didn't have at least some food over that span. Like if you would ask me on a multiple choice question, will you survive or will you die if you only have water for 40 days? I would have said you die.
I would
I
think,
would've
but I'm
thought-
wondering what he put in said water. Like, was it just water? Were you able to put some sort of electrolytes or some sort of
Yeah.
protein or some sort
That's
of
what I'm wondering.
vitamin in there?
Well, if that's the case, he should have added that
Yeah.
too.
yeah, but that didn't get as many clicks, Lauren. Come on now.
True.
40 days of just.
Well,
yeah, but-
Jesus went for that's
He
the
did,
whole thing.
but
that-
Jesus
that
could turn
Jesus
water
went
to
40
wine
days with
and-
just water, and that's
He
why
also
they
rose
Heal
from the
people.
dead.
that's why
Yeah,
they
like-
fast for 40 days like Jesus did.
Yes. But he said it brought supreme mental clarity, and I think that's awesome. And he feels so much better. He said every part of his body feels great, whether it's his digestive system. Look, if you can do it or if you want to fast in general, by all means, go for it. That is not at all my idea of how to lose weight.
Two things. One, I feel like if I go a couple of hours without food, I feel myself like
That's how I am. I feel
like
woozy.
get lightheaded.
Yes.
Secondly, I'm not a doctor. The only scientific tie that I could possibly come up with is like because he was an O lineman and he was a bigger guy. He
had fat stored for years.
and so his body was able to live off of that stored fat. But even then,
Interesting.
you would need some sort of fresh nutrients to like.
Yeah, that's where my mind goes. Well, I would be like 10 pounds after 40 days, so that wouldn't be very good. But also, I thought your body needed like certain other things. I know how good water is for you, but like she said, I thought you would need some sort of vitamins, minerals,
No, apparently
protein.
you can live a really long time with just
Yeah,
water.
the first thing I said, it said survival guides say 30 to 40 days without
Yeah.
food of any kind,
Wow. That's amazing. I am
but only
so
2 to 3
impressed.
without water.
I don't have the mental
Days.
ability to tell myself not to eat for an entire day. Like even a 12-hour fast is not something that I want to do. I feel weak, I feel lightheaded, and I don't have any energy. And I guess that's what I would want to know too. In that 40 days, was Russell just like in the darkness, like Aaron Rodgers, just literally like lying down, not
doing
moving?
yoga and meditation and I don't know. By the way, 0585 on the text line
Yeah.
brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. I know protein isn't water. I did at least pass biology. I know that's a shock to most of you. I did struggle in chemistry. But perhaps there's some sort of like nutrient protein like almost like a liquid IV, but like with
gotcha.
protein and with vitamins like that. That's the only thing I can come up with. That you could pour that into water.
Yeah, I am currently drinking Mio with the Mio Energy with caffeine in it because I was trying to cut back on diet soda. So I'll let you know if this makes me able to fast at least from that. All right, let's get it to Trevor Lawrence. The quarterback met with the media yesterday. Feels like the first time we've heard from him in a little bit. And this offseason, Trevor says, has a different feel to it.
Definitely a different feel in this offseason, being able to unwind a little bit and then disconnect. I mean, last year, well, obviously my rookie year didn't really have an offseason going into the league. It's a pretty busy year, and then getting drafted, and then you're trying to adjust. And then last year, with the coaching change and all that, not sure what was going to happen, and then having coach hired and trying to learn the system and all that, it's really don't have much of an offseason because you're trying to figure out kind of what the next step is. And now we have our culture set, we have our staff, we have our system. It feels good having that in place.
Yeah, that's a ton of, like a massive difference between last year and this year.
It was like last year going from a complete psychopath to a competent coach.
Don't say.
That's a change.
Yeah, and I mean, to have a new system too. So Trevor Lawrence had to learn, obviously, the Clemson offensive system, and then he had to get to Jacksonville, learn Urban's system, or the offensive system under Urban, and then immediately turn around, and really, Urban was fired, and so the system probably changed a little bit. And then,
towards the end of the season.
Right.
Yeah.
And then have Doug Peterson's system put in. And obviously he knows how good of a coach Doug Peterson is, the fact that he was a quarterback. But it's still just a lot of change. And so now to not only have all that, but then to add weapons to it, I do feel like this obviously is the most comfortable Trevor Lawrence has looked in OTAs. But I think we're going to continue to say that as the offseason progresses. Of course, this team does have very different expectations going into this season than last season. How does Trevor handle it?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't change anything for us. I mean, obviously, if anything, it's got to work even harder. I mean, it doesn't really change anything for us. Regardless of the expectations, the game is played on Sunday. You got to go out there and play the game, regardless of if people think you're going to win, think you're going to lose. Doesn't really matter. So, and that's the mindset we had last year, being pretty much the underdog in every game, and we got to carry that over this year too. We still have to have that chip on our shoulder and prepare the same way. We still didn't get to where we wanted to last year, so we have a lot more work to do.
Yeah, I think you have to balance the expectations versus still have that chip on your shoulder.
Yeah. And it's not like he hasn't had to deal with that before. In
Absolutely.
college,
he won the national championship his freshman year. You don't think there were expectations the next
after
2
that.
years?
And then all the way back to high school. I mean, we talk constantly about where he was in the beginning and when it went to the Elite 11 and the competition between him and Justin Fields constantly throughout high school. And then they go to college and it was pretty much the same thing all over again. And so he's been there. He's been in that. And I don't think Trevor is anybody whatsoever to that last year even with how much of a hot mess they were coming out of, even at this time last year, I think Trevor probably in his head was holding himself with higher expectations than maybe some other people were around.
I want to go back to the point about him being able to teach the offense. He's no longer having to learn the offense as much as he is always constantly learning. Doug Peterson said he feels like Trevor is now teaching other players the offense. I can tell you firsthand, and I tweeted it out. Here's your first Iowa reference of the night besides the Midwest joke. Oliver Martin, number one prospect in the class of 2017 out of Iowa. Went to Iowa City West High School, went to Michigan as a 4-star wide receiver, and I covered him when he was in high school. He was signed as an undrafted free agent by your Jaguars, so he's on the practice field. I did not have on my bingo card back in 2017 or even 2021 Trevor Lawrence giving Oliver Martin tips for running routes at TIAA Bank Field. I didn't have that on my bingo card because a lot of people thought after Oliver went to 3 different schools that he wouldn't pan out in the National Football League. But I didn't have that on my bingo card even in 2021, 2022, because as much as Trevor has been a leader, he's much more of a leader by example. You never really saw, outside of the number one or number 2 wide receiver, you've never seen him, take a guy to the side and be like, hey, pointing out to literally, the guy who's, wide receiver 9 and saying, this is how you run that route. This is where you go here, go there. It's been very visible during the OTAs, not just with this situation, but with several others, whether it's some of the younger tight ends, whether it's some of the younger offensive linemen coming in, that Trevor knows not just what his job is, but what everybody's job is. And so he's been able to kind of maneuver and say, hey, let's take it over to the side and let's do this. And you didn't see that a year ago because he was trying to learn the offense.
Yeah, I also think there was a point last season, during the season, I can't remember exactly what game it was, but we talked about it on here, where there was almost a switch that flipped. a switch flipped with Trevor, and it was the game. Remember when he was getting a little chirpy, he was like waving at the opposing fans. There was this moment where I was like, I love this Trevor. Like, this is a Trevor I've been waiting for. And I think around that time he realized, like, in the NFL, the quarterback's the leader, and you kind of have to take a hold of that sometimes. And he did, and look what happened for the rest of the season. And I think now, obviously, he has seen that these guys trust him, these guys respect him, and he can be that person.
I think it was Tennessee, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was the Titans. I think like learning a language, you're first exposed to it, and it is difficult to get even through the beginning. And then eventually you start to converse with it, you start to write with it. And then once you can teach that language to somebody else, you know that you've mastered it. And it feels like that's where Trevor that's the point that he's reached at this point in time, is he's mastered the language, and he's able to now teach that in terms of the system as far as the offense goes. All right, we've still got to get to CJ Stroud's top 5 quarterbacks, as well as our sweet shots. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, driven by Tire Outlet on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Yo, Jacksonville. It's a Duval thing.
Let's go. Duval.
1010XL.
The Community First Igloo, the newly renovated Family Ice facility, is celebrating its official grand opening from June 6th through the 11th. The fun starts Tuesday with a ribbon cutting at 11:30 a.m. While there, check out the Key Renter Esports Gaming Lounge for free gaming from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. all week long. There's also free public skating from 10 a.m. to noon on Wednesday and Thursday, a beer tasting event, and a mixology class set for Friday and Saturday. For more information, visit communityfirstigloo.com.
At Batteries Plus, we power family road trips. We power bedtime stories. We power our local hospitals. We power connections with friends. We do more than replace batteries and fix phones and tablets. We help our neighbors power their lives. How powerful is that? Visit Batteries Plus for free auto battery testing and free installation, too, at most locations. See batteriesplus.com for details.
Hey, Matt Hayes, temperatures are rising, and when you have an AC breakdown, you need it repaired today. Fenwick Home Services is the expert cooling team you can trust to repair your system the same day, or it's free. Fenwick is Jacksonville's always-ready cooling and plumbing team. Available 24/7, even nights and weekends with no emergency fees. Plus, Fenwick will keep your system covered with Florida's leading repair warranties. Call or book online at fenwickezbook.com.
Ever wonder what it's like to drive a real military tank? Check out tankamerica.com for a badass tank driving experience. That's right, you can drive an actual tank through mud and crush cars. Sounds awesome, right? Visit tankamerica.com.
What? They did not tell me they were going to do that. I need a new bank.
Well, actually, One-to-One Financial doesn't do the usual bank surprises because we're not a bank. We're a credit union, and that means lower loan interest, things like free checking and member rewards, and of course, total investment back into our community.
I'm sold.
Find a better way to bank than big banks with One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Visit 121fcu.org for more information on opening an account today.
Federally insured by NCUA.
If you're often tired, have trouble exercising, or your heartbeat feels irregular, you might have atrial fibrillation, or AFib. Left untreated, AFib can put a strain on your heart and increase your risk of a stroke. But the new Heart Rhythm Center at Baptist Health can help. With the latest treatment options for heart disorders like AFib, our team of specialists can get you feeling stronger again. Learn more at baptistjacks.com/AFib or call 904-202-2342.
Mike Dempsey for Tire Outlet. Are you looking for the best deal on your next set of tires? Tire Outlet never falls flat. We offer the best selection, best quality, and best prices on tires so that you can find the right ones for your vehicle. With over 40 years of experience, 15 locations across Florida, and a legendary price match guarantee, you can trust that your vehicle is in great hands. Our skilled technicians are ready to maintain and repair your vehicle to keep it operating its best. Tire Outlet. Wholesale prices, premium service.
Tire Outlet. Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Nimnik Buick GMC is proud to be the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Frank Frangie here. They're committed to providing the best selection of Buicks and GMCs for you to choose from with a best price guarantee. Nimnick has been in business for over 81 years because they've been doing business the right way. Stop by Nimnick Buick GMC on Phillips Highway, just south of I-295, or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com. That's Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Who's the only person to walk in space and also visit the Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the ocean?
How long has it been since you compared homeowners' insurance rates? Log on to southernoak.com to get an instant quote or find an agent near you.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
NASA astronaut Catherine Sullivan is the only person so far who has spacewalked and has traveled to the Mariana Trench.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours. When it comes to commercial fence services, Superior Fence and Rail has you covered. If your business needs automatic gates or security fence and railings, trust Superior with your next commercial project. Superior's team delivers great communication, high-quality products, and exceptional customer service. Just read any of their 2,300-plus reviews.
When you're on the fence about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Bananas in pajamas are coming down the stairs. Bananas in pajamas are coming down in pairs. Bananas in pajamas are
Stilettos and sabermetrics.
Helmets and Heels, driven by Tire Outlet. Brought to you by Underwood Jewelers.
On 1010XL.
Bananas. I knew that you had a
I was
fear
gonna
of
say,
bananas.
I thought I'd shared this story on Helmets and Heels before. Come on now, people.
I used to love
You
that show.
definitely
by
have
the way.
on Prime.
I don't know what that
Bananas
show
in
is.
Pajamas.
It
That was-
is.
Bananas
It
in
was a
Pajamas?
cartoon.
It's very mid-90s,
Yeah.
1992, first release
I think
children's
I think it was
program.
on like PBS or
Yeah.
something.
That
it was
was
like
the
the
name of
free
the show?
cartoon
Yes,
channel.
the name
Bananas
of the
in
show.
It's
But it was like
literally Bananas in Pajamas.
it was like a cartoon meets real life because like there were real life people in
Yeah.
the banana
Yes.
costumes. But then they segued to more cartoons, so it was like one of those like
That
Who
sounds
Framed
weird.
Roger Rabbit, where you have like
Yeah,
both
I don't like
animation
that.
and
It
real
was
life.
one of those child shows that the creators were definitely on drugs.
Oh yeah. of
The
course.
coincidental
weird.
part is that I enjoyed the show, and that was around the time that my little 4-year-old self discovered she had a pathological fear of bananas. But I still enjoyed the show. But when it comes to my irrational fear of bananas, yes.
So if someone had a banana in a smoothie, but you never saw the actual banana peel or the banana, would you eat the banana smoothie?
that may or may not have happened with an empanada this weekend.
Banana in an empanada?
Well, plantain.
I
Oh,
was just about to ask if you eat
yeah.
plantains.
Nope, I don't.
You're really missing out.
okay.
Bananas too.
But so a banana in a smoothie, would you eat the smoothie?
No, not if I knew. I probably have drank a smoothie that had it and I didn't know. But
So if someone
You've
made
never
you a-
tasted a banana like on its own?
well, I used to eat them all the time
Oh,
when I was a
okay.
little kid. But then, to make the very long story short, I was 4 years old. I walked down the stairs. I got a bloody nose, and my little 4-year-old brain, the last thing I remember smelling before the bloody nose was my mom was eating a banana. And so my little 4-year-old brain decided I was sick, I was lightheaded, I was dying, and
Oh,
it was
no.
all because of the banana.
I thought you were about to say you Mario Karted and slipped on the banana.
Down the stairs.
That would have been funny. That
Broke
would have
her
been funny.
arm.
Nope, just solely the smell, and made my mom. I made her let me stay home from school. Went to the doctor, sat
Wow.
me down, and the doctor goes, Mia, when did these symptoms start? And I said, it all started with that banana this morning. My mom handed him $40, took my hand, and we left. Yeah. So,
That's cute.
so yeah, and so then it just kind of became like this bit, not a bit, but because I firmly was
It's
afraid
real
of,
life for
but
you.
yeah, it's a real life bit. Like I was firmly afraid of, avoided bananas at all costs.
So like every 5K that most people finish or a half
Yeah.
marathon, there's bananas everywhere.
Yeah.
What happens then?
I
Do
just
you
avoid
faint?
them. No, I just avoid them. Now I've gotten to a point where, and I was that way when I was a young kid. But I used to tell the other kids at school I was allergic so as to avoid
anyone handing it
right
to
the
you.
confrontation.
I
or
do
the
that
smell.
with tequila. It's a
Yeah,
very
there
smart
you go.
way to get around taking
only
tequila
to
shots.
then one of my childhood best friends decided to spill the beans that you're not really allergic. Why does everyone think you're allergic? You're just afraid of them. And
oh
yeah,
no.
and that was then the next 10 years of my formal education.
So when Will Levis was tweeting out the videos last
No, like
year,
I'm cool with it. Like I could
doesn't-
see him.
It doesn't like send chills. Okay, so that can't be your
It's
biggest
just the
fear
smell.
then.
No, it's just the smell. Like
Okay.
I'm just not.
Brings back.
So if in order we started the conversation with facing our fears, and God bless you, JJ. We started our
Thank you.
conversation with facing fears. So if someone said, Mia, you have to eat a banana right now,
I would not.
Like Fear Factor.
Absolutely not. That would be fear factor.
could
for
you just
me.
plug your nose
No.
and eat it?
No, I can't.
To avoid the
The
smell?
texture, everything
You better
about
hope you never lose on the Wheel of Misfortune on the drill because you would definitely be eating a banana.
Yeah, aren't you guys hosting the drill? I feel like there should be because you're in the seat.
Don't let Curtis
Spin
hear
the
this.
We are co-hosting.
Don't let Curtis hear this.
Yeah, with Tom McManus, Thursday and Friday morning from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I don't know what's happening from 6 a.m. to 7
Me,
a.m.
the Mia Show. You know you're gonna want to tune in.
You're on from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m.?
That I am.
But
Myself
Tom
and
and I
E.T..
don't have to be there?
Myself and E.T.
This is fascinating information.
Get ready, get ready, get
This
ready,
Prosser
America.
hour.
A
This
Prosser
just
hour.
made my day.
We're overtaken by Mia. Indeed.
Wow.
You could honestly talk about whatever the hell you
I
want.
know.
that
That's what
hour.
I've been like in doing my research.
I've
I'm
done
like,
that hour before.
This is a lot better than I anticipated.
I
so.
did it with Tyler Devitt, who is not nearly as talkative as E.T.
Yeah,
Like,
E.T.
E.T. will help you. Tyler would just like mumble and groan when I would try and talk to him and be like, this is not the time for me to talk.
E.T. has a lot of ideas, so we're gonna run with it. So.
Okay, well then I do know what's happening between 6 and 7 a.m. and that means I get to play the role of Dan Hicken, as well as Tom McManus.
Rolling at
Their
7:05.
Yes,
Yeah, right.
roll in at 7 a.m. And yeah, that sounds lovely. So I do though vote against any sort of Wheel of Misfortune. I want no part of that.
And I won't talk about bananas from 6 to 7. Maybe, possibly. If you want to, possibly wake up, yo.
All right, before we get it to CJ Stroud's top 5 quarterbacks, we've got to get it to our Sweet Shots brought to you by Bellwether.
Pay close attention.
Rose Zhang wins a college national title and first LPGA title in 13 days' time.
Rose Zhang is here, and she is here to stay. In her first start as a professional, she wins the Mizuho Americas Open.
BT Ryopel with a 2-run shot in a win-or-go-home game against Texas Tech in the regionals.
1-0 Florida. The pitch. Swing and a long fly ball into right center field. To the track, to the wall. Yo! Home run, BT Ryapel. A 2-run shot is his 14th of the year. And the Gators lead it 3-0 here in the 4th inning.
Victor Hovland came out on top after beating Denny McCarthy in a one-hole playoff at the Memorial to take home his 4th PGA Tour title.
From Oslo to Ohio, Victor Hovland is the champion.
And I just played smart, played my game, and came up clutch this time. But yeah, feels even better after a few close calls the last few months.
Well done, everyone. Mine, of course, had to do with Gator baseball. Taylor's, of course, had to do with Victor Hovland. And Mia's, I wouldn't have predicted yours this week, but I thought that was fantastic with Rose Zhang.
Yeah, changing it up a little bit, giving some love to the women's sports, which I also see on the text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Several of you looking for the shout out for the Florida State women's,
Oh, yeah.
the Florida State softball team, I should say, who once again taking on Oklahoma, a rematch of the finals from 2 years ago for sure. I forgot how many times those two teams have faced. It's kind of like the Cavs and the Warriors in the mid-2010s. And listen, and I said this on XL Primetime, I get it. Oklahoma in softball is Alabama in football. They have won 50 straight games, but they got pushed to the brink last night by Stanford, 2-2 until the final inning of play. So,
and FSU has won, I think it's like 33 out of 35,
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
Knowles have a chance.
Yeah, so here's the issue for me as the Gator graduate. A friend of mine asked me, so who are you rooting for? And it's like, well, I normally don't root for dynasties, but in this case,
Yeah,
I have
might
to.
have to.
So go Sooners. Sorry, I know the Seminoles team is a great story. By the way, if you follow any of FSU softball on Twitter, they've always got hashtag Team 40. And I didn't know what that meant, so I finally looked it up and realized that's just the season that they're in. This is the 40th season of FSU softball. See, you guys had seen it, and you didn't even take the time to look it up.
No.
This is how curious of a person I am. I have to know what everything means. If I'm reading a book and there's a word I don't know, then I have to look it up. I'm such a dork. Taylor, congratulations to Victor Hovland.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was funny.
Were you
because
watching live?
I was not.
Okay.
Oh, I ended up.
You do not care as much about him as I
was
thought.
at Lemon Bar, and so there was, if you know Lemon Bar, when you're out, there's not really TVs if you're sitting at one of the tables out there. So I honestly was sitting there, and then all of a sudden my phone started blowing up. Like Mia was texting me, Donna was texting me, my grandma was texting me. All of these people were like, Hovland's about to go into a playoff, and so I was like, we have to go somewhere where there's a TV. So we went to Flying Iguana and then watched the playoff at Flying Iguana. But I've said it on here. I'm just not the biggest like golf fan in general, so I will follow. Like I'll check the leaderboard occasionally, but I'm not gonna sit down and like go out of my way and watch it. But I did when I found out. I was like, oh yes, come on. I didn't even want to tweet because I was like, I don't want to jinx it. I'm not even gonna say anything yet until he actually wins. But good for him.
She's got a big old smile on her face
She's
in case
so
you're not
pumped.
watching the live stream.
It's such
I did not text you because I just assumed you were watching because he had been playing so well and was near the top of the leaderboard.
And we had been watching because my grandpa actually on Saturday he knows anyways because I talk about Victor Hovland, and he was like, oh, I love Hovland too. And then he was texting me earlier that day, and he was like, Victor's playing really well, and I was like, that's great. I'm at Lemon Bar. I'll look later.
See, sometimes to be a true sports fan, you have to give up those days of just enjoying yourself. I'm just kidding. Lemon Bar would have been beautiful because it was nice and breezy on Sunday. All right, Florida baseball update in case you missed it. Florida will play South Carolina Friday, 6 p.m. in the Super Regional, obviously in Gainesville, and then Saturday, 3 p.m. first pitch. Both of those games on ESPN2, which is lovely, by the way, because a lot of games in the regional were on ESPN Plus. And because I'm old and archaic, I still have cable. So I don't get ESPN Plus on TV. I have to pull my laptop out and put ESPN Plus on, so the baseball
Oh, you
game.
have a smart TV, I'm sure.
I do have a smart TV, but
You
ESPN...
just click over.
No, we don't have that option.
You don't have the ESPN app?
No, not on our TV.
How about YouTube TV?
It says we have to have Roku or a Samsung Smart TV. And I have an LG Smart TV, and I don't have Roku, and I don't have Samsung Smart
weird.
TV. I know. I looked it up because I was like, this is driving me nuts. But in the end, I just put Rays baseball on the TV and Gator baseball on the laptop. And then I called Bricks on whatever day that was, Sunday. And I said, it was Sunday. I said, do you have ESPN Plus? And they said yes. And I said, okay, then I will be there to watch the Florida baseball game. So we went out to watch it, which was just lovely to be able to watch it on a television. Although I didn't have sound, which is the only downside.
Good for BT because he was struggling before.
He was
game.
0 for 14 in the regional.
Yeah.
And you knew that if for Florida to advance, Jack Caglione, BT Riopelle,
Wyatt
Langford, one of them, or really all three of them, were going to have to step up in certain moments. And obviously the pitchers too. Cade Fisher threw a gem against UConn, and so that was exciting. That was the Sunday noon game, and then went home and then watched the rematch of Florida Texas Tech, and that was very exciting. And then obviously yesterday Florida beat Texas Tech, or that was the rematch was yesterday, and so that was very exciting as well. Watched that at Deer Creek for the Walk-Off Charities Golf Tournament. So,
and they called it, too. He was like, I have a feeling BT is going to...
Sean Kelly said, Sean Kelly did call it, you're right, the Florida play-by-play guy. All right, let's get to C.J. Stroud's top 5 quarterbacks. I'll start from the bottom up just to please, again, one Taylor Dahl. Number 5, Justin Fields. Number 4,
you should have gone 1 through 5.
Allen. Number 3, Joe Burrow. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes. Nobody else has Patrick Mahomes second, but okay. And number 1, Jalen Hurts. Here is what I glean from C.J. Stroud's top 5. These are the most mobile quarterbacks pretty much in the NFL across the board.
Yeah.
So that, I assume, is how he sees himself, modeling his game after these guys.
Which is the ones he's watching closer because that's where he thinks his game is the most
That's
recognizable.
exactly what I thought.
Yeah. And obviously Justin being like Ohio State connections there too. And look, I've said my things on Justin Fields. I would not put Justin Fields as a top 5 quarterback right now. No way. But I get why he is because like you said, I think that he is associating his game with these certain players, number 1. Number 2, it's probably guys that he's watched the closest. And I mentioned it last year when I went to the Bears game and I was asking people up there how, what everyone was saying about Trevor Lawrence and like what they were saying about Jacksonville, and they were kind of like, they were not really talking about them, honestly. And so I think that that's part of it. If you're not one of the ones, maybe towards the end of the season when they were going on that run and they were winning the 6 straight, people probably started tuning in a little bit more. But unfortunately, it's just one of those, it's one of the teams that people most outside of Jacksonville aren't just tuning in to tune in, but they will start now because of the way that season ended and what they were able to do in the playoffs and things like that. So we're seeing Trevor on more and more lists every single day of top quarterbacks, and so you'll see that. But the Jalen Hurts over Patrick Mahomes is very interesting on no matter what list we're looking at.
Agreed.
The Justin Fields for me, I was just like, yeah, you got to sneak your buddy in there.
Yeah.
Respect. It's fine. No, it's kind of interesting because I was cutting up some audio from Nick Wright and First Things First, where they were discussing the possibility of Trevor and the Jaguars being one step ahead of Josh Allen and the Bills. And when you look at those two teams, what do you see? You see two teams that, lose to the Chiefs, but you see one that overcame a 27-0 deficit and another one that had to keep it close between Skylar Thompson and the Dolphins. And so that's where, and especially now seeing that Chris Sims just a short while ago revealed part of his top 10 of his top 40 quarterbacks of the National Football League, and T-Law checks in at 6 ahead of Jalen Hurts.
Oh, wow.
It's, it's just, listen, beauty is in the eyes of its beholder, but it's interesting to see how outside of C.J. Stroud, Patrick Mahomes, then the rest of that group that now includes Trevor Lawrence, how it will
Mixed
shake
around
out.
a little
yeah,
bit.
how it will shake out over the course of this season, I think will be very, very fascinating because, lest we forget, all of those guys are all, I believe, outside of Josh Allen, who I think is like 28. The rest of them are 26 or younger, which is mind-blowing.
Yeah, I saw a tweet today saying, the quarterback era is over with all the quarterbacks that have either retired or exited the game. Like, for instance, Matt Ryan isn't technically retired. But, yeah, Manning and Brady and all those guys, Rivers, Rogers is still playing.
I think there are like 20
Breeze,
names on
Rivers,
there.
those are all those guys. And it's like, yeah, that era is over, but this new wave of quarterbacks is really, really
Yeah.
good. So I don't think we have to be all that sad.
I'm kind of happy. I'm
Absolutely.
over a lot of this.
Especially here, because we didn't have any guys on that list for the Jaguars, and I know the Bears probably didn't either.
I know they didn't even put Jay Cutler on.
I mean, come on, man. All right, we'll get into the NBA Finals when we come back. You're listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM.
This is Duval. This is Jacksonville Sports Radio, 1010XL.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, presented by FIS, is home this week at 1-to-1 Financial Ballpark. Tonight is Community First 2 for Tuesday. Tomorrow is a noonday game on VyStar Good is Everywhere Wednesday, and the weekend starts with Coors Light Thirsty Thursday. Enjoy fireworks Friday and Saturday. Baseball all week and weekend. Tickets start at just $5. Call 358-2846 or jackshrimp.com for tickets.
Did you know the 2023 Honda CR-V Hybrid never needs to be plugged in? The onboard system charges the batteries for you. When you think Honda, think hybrid. Good for the environment, great for your budget. Visit your local Honda dealer to experience the CR-V of the future today.
Children under 5 die from drowning in Florida more than any other state. Together, we can reduce the risk of drowning. The YMCA has programs accessible to families that teach essential water safety skills. Face the water with confidence. Learn more at watersafetyflorida.org.
The First Coast has voted. Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is proud to be chosen as Bold City's best in the orthopedic practice and physical therapy and rehab centers categories once again. For the last 29 years, JOI has continually strived for the highest level of orthopedic surgery and rehab care. As the needs of the community evolve, so will they. That's why coaches, parents, and athletes choose JOI. Call them at JOI 2000 or visit JOI.net. JOI, where the pros go.
He's got 55 reasons to listen to Jaguars Today every Friday.
It's always been us versus them.
Tom McManus.
I want that played at my funeral.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
Is your house exterior due for a wash? First Coast Home Pros has thousands of 5-star reviews for a reason. They get amazing results on even the toughest pressure washing jobs. Schedule now at firstcoasthomepros.com.
Men, are you suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE? The medical providers at Prime Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. 98% of men see instant results on their first office visit. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Men are even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
But that's not all. For a limited time only, call Prime Men's Medical Center now, and your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
Gain presents a tale of longing and long-lasting scent. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Add Gain scent beads for an even longer lasting scent.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Care you can see.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying. They can also signal a major problem or electrical emergency. So leave it to the pros and Mr. Sparky.
888 Sparky. Your on-time electrician, Mr. Sparky of the First Coast.
All Weather Contractors is hiring experienced commercial construction team members now. If you want the most competitive pay for your experience, eager for opportunity and advancement, and if bonuses, benefits, 401k programs, and employee stock ownership opportunities sound appealing, we should talk. We're a full-service multifamily and commercial construction company focused on building better careers for people with a purpose. Build a better career in the commercial construction industry. Apply online at allweathercontractors.com today.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
These heels are made for talking.
Helmets and heels.
Driven by Tire Outlet.
Brought to you by Underwood Jewelers.
On 1010XL.
I thought about this song from Blue Oyster Cult. Is this your song, JJ?
It is.
Love it. Don't fear the
fear
Reaper.
dying, basically.
I love that.
Even though I don't think I fear dying, but I certainly respect him. And, you know, I try to keep my distance.
I can understand that. I think most people, if you were to ask them honestly, like, are you afraid of dying? I think most people would say yes, like just because of the unknown. But they know one day that will happen, and they're certainly at some point hopefully going to be at peace about it if it's something that they have to come to terms with.
Unless we're Bryson DeChambeau. Then we can live till we're 140.
Well, that's a good point. But
truly live.
But again,
truly live.
But I guess he will eventually die.
No matter how long you live, it eventually is going to happen. So, yeah. All right. We are going to talk about the NBA Finals. We'll get to Loser Monday and my selections here in a second.
Oh, yes.
But did either of you think, you two NBA watchers, JJ and Mia, did either of you think the Heat would win a game in Denver?
No.
No.
I can after they didn't win game 1 because there was
Right. We all thought Russ versus Rest.
Yeah, there was a notion that maybe with the Russ versus Rest they possibly could pull that one out of their hat, but no, I did not see a world, especially after how I know it was a 9-point game 1, but the Nuggets dominated that game, especially in the second half. You could say what you want about the fourth quarter.
And
down
they'd
the
never
stretch.
lost at home this entire playoff.
Right. I didn't think there was any way. And for what it's worth, if Jamal Murray had showed up and if, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope decided to not start fouling people from beyond the arc, then perhaps the Nuggets would have pulled a rabbit out of their hat.
Interesting. You mentioned 2 of the guys on my team for Loser Monday.
KCP's been tough.
Yeah.
That was not a great pick so far.
No, he was not. And so I tried, of course, to follow y'all's advice. However, Michael Porter Jr. was selected before I could take him with my second pick.
He only had 5 points in game 2, so you're
He
looking
did,
okay.
Yeah. And so I ended up with Caleb Martin, who y'all suggested
Well,
for
hold
my
on. You got
third
Murray,
pick.
right?
I got 3 picks. So my 3 picks are Jamal Murray,
Okay,
Caleb Martin, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. The problem is Caleb Martin, I don't know if y'all saw this earlier today, but he has had cold chills, body aches, and a heavy, heavy migraine during the first 2 games.
COVID.
So the good news is I think
bubble
he's
time.
feeling better, and so now hopefully he can put up more than 3 points in 2
He
games.
just had to get back to Miami. It was the altitude it was getting to
Yeah.
him. It wasn't COVID.
I heard
Come
it's
on.
rough over there.
That is not what I expected from him. I didn't think he would do what he did in the series before, against Boston, where he has like
Right.
20-plus point games.
That
but
would've been nice.
I certainly expected like 10 points. 10 points a game.
Well, apparently we can chalk it up
He's
to
only
him
had
not
3
feeling well. He
in
said
both?
3 points in 2 games,
Oh.
Taylor.
At
He
the-
made a 3 in the second game.
At the
oh my
very
God!
least,
So he
yeah.
didn't have any points in game
No,
one.
That would be correct.
Oh my!
and then he had
goodness.
that 1-3 in the second half as part of that final run for the Heat.
So where are
Were
you
you
at?
cheering at that
Or,
3?
actually, he might have had a 3 in the first game, and either way, he hasn't had very many.
Part of it too is the fact that they had to reinsert Kevin Love into the starting lineup because Caleb Martin wasn't feeling
He can't
well.
play defense either.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
also.
Well, I don't care about his defensive
I know. I'm
abilities,
just
but I
saying,
know
if
exactly
he
what
can't
you
guard
mean.
anyone, he won't be in the
Correct.
game,
I
and
know
therefore
exactly
not
what you mean.
scoring. What are the standings?
So
You're not
currently,
losing.
currently I'm not losing yet. Currently, I'll get to that in a second. Gibby has 130 points because he has Jokic, Gabe Vincent, and Kyle Lowry.
He'll be all right.
He is completely safe.
Yeah.
We can just say that right now. I chose second. I have 63 points, so I have just about less than half. And I just told you who I have. The next person, Hayes, went third. He has 62 points, so he has 1 point less than me. He picked Jimmy Butler, Aaron Gordon, and Tyler Hero, which was the X Factor, which currently has proved to not be an X Factor because he hasn't played yet and he was ruled out for
That was
game
a bold
three.
strategy.
Yeah.
Very bold
prediction.
strategy. He thought, of course, he'd be back for game 1. So, but he thought for sure he'd get at least 4 games out of him. And then Frank,
He still might get 4 games out of him.
also true potentially. I'm rooting
Although
against
he has
that.
been ruled out for game 3.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
He
Yeah, I
has been
just
ruled out
saw
for
it.
game 3. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping he doesn't play at all. That's my strategy. And then Frank has 87 points, even though he picked 4th. He has Bam Adebayo, Michael Porter, and Bruce Brown.
Yeah, I mean, Bam showed up, and like I said to the primetime boys, I was like,
You're gonna catch him.
He read the yeah
Let's
yeah
hope
he
so.
read
I'm
the
telling you, you will.
right. Bam read the receipts where so many of us were saying, hey, is he actually an elite player? Can he match up with Jokic, especially because Jokic's one perhaps Achilles heel is he's not a great rim protector, and so like can Bam finally do it? And he broke through. I mean, he comes up a board shy of a double-double, 21 points, the same amount as Jimmy Butler. And it proved that, when this Miami Heat team is balanced and they have the unheralded Gabe Vincent going for 23 points, they can compete with the Nuggets without Jimmy Butler having to go,
50.
completely meteoric on them.
I actually feel very confident for you.
Oh, good.
Honestly.
I like
Just
that.
because,
Because I have no confidence in myself.
I don't expect what's his name to be performing like that consistently.
Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's hit 1-3 in each game.
Like that's
Yeah.
absurd. So
After
even
what he did in the Celtics series, yeah.
even if you get like a little bit better from him, and then like you said, Hayes doesn't even have a guy in the series playing.
And yet he's only a point behind me.
So you're expecting him to probably be out for like 2 more games, maybe.
Caleb Martin averaged 20 points a game.
Yes.
in the
last
Eastern
series.
Conference
That's what I'm
Finals.
saying. If you can get to 10 points a
He's
game with
been
him,
sick, and
you'll
so
be good.
I have forgiven him for his poor performances
And
because
if
now I know he's
Caldwell
been battling
Pope hits like 2 threes, gets you like 6 or 9 points in a game or something. And I'm telling you, Murray was terrible in game 2.
He
Still
really
got you
was.
18 points.
Now,
like,
part of
you
that-
could go off for 40 points.
Yes,
That's possible.
that's exactly what I'm hoping for, and certainly part of that was that was the Heat's game plan. We'll let Jokic get his, but we're not going to let him distribute as much as he had in game 1. And it was a smart game
and
plan.
every game won't
Spoelstra's
be
smart.
like that.
Absolutely. And so, tomorrow night, game 3, for people who are not paying attention, it's back in Miami. And look, the stakes couldn't be any higher. I think for people who said, 1 versus 8, this is going to be boring, it's been the opposite of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really fascinating because it truly is a battle of, well, certainly Jokic is the best player in the world, and Jimmy Butler tends to be one of, if not the best player in the NBA playoffs. It truly is a battle of two teams that have been developed over time, players that the coaching staff has developed, and they are cogs in the machine. It's not a matter of a big 3 going up against another big 3. Neither of these two teams are super teams. And I've said it before on this program, and I'll say it again. You look at that Denver Nuggets starting lineup, 3 of the 5, their 3 leading scorers, homegrown talent. And then you look at some of the guys they have coming off the bench. Like, I thought Christian Braun, the rookie out of Kansas, JJ, I thought he gave them some quality minutes in game 1, gave them some quality minutes in game 2, 15.
Oh, the white guy?
Yeah, 3 for
Yes.
3 from the floor. Like, I think he's a good he's going to develop into a good role player for them. Then you look at the Heat, how many undrafted guys that they've been able to develop. They did draft Bam in the lottery. And so, I just look at it as, for those of you who, even if you're not an NBA fan, but you are a fan of sports, of the homegrown, we didn't buy our talent, these are the two teams you should be rooting for.
By the way, they pronounce Braun. So
Yeah.
I was very confused when I was watching and they were talking about Brown. I'm like, Frank has Bruce Brown, but that's not Bruce Brown. Who's this Brown cat? Christian Braun, but pronounced Brown. Yeah, it got very confusing for me. All I know is I was rooting against.
It's spelled B-R-O-W-N, right?
No, it's spelled
B-R-A-U-N.
Yeah,
But
A-U-N.
you say it Brown?
Yes, but you pronounce it
Okay.
Brown.
It's also because then they also have Bruce Brown. So they have Bruce Brown and they have Christian Brown.
Brown. Yeah, either way, all I know is unless Murray has the ball, I'm pretty much rooting against everyone because Caleb hasn't done, like I said, a whole lot, and KCP was fouling everyone. So, let's hope for a better game 3.
I just have to hope, for JJ said, 10 or 12.
And KCP is so streaky,
Yeah.
so with shooters like him, you could have a game where he does have 3 points, but then he'll have a game with 18, 20 points.
I also think Jamal Murray.
It's a long series,
I need it in my
Lauren.
blood.
It's a very long series.
Jamal Murray will find himself as well. I mean, I say that he had 18 points, but
It was a rough 18 points.
yeah, it was a rough 18 points.
Up until the
Trust
last,
me.
he made those 2 threes at the very end that made it look a lot closer than it actually was, and then was actually close to tying the game.
We were deprived.
Yes, very close.
We were
That would have been
deprived
awesome.
of an all-time Mike Breen
Yes,
bang, and I'm
yes.
still upset about it 3 days later.
He was warming up for it. You could tell. The
Oh,
B was at
absolutely.
the end of his. Just missed the front of
and
the
it
eye.
riles out too. He was there. It was there.
By the way, you've never watched an NBA game until you have players like this and most points scored. Literally every time someone goes up to take a shot, if they're one of the players in the Loser Monday, it's either come on or no. Literally every single shot I'm cheering like that. It's very exhausting, as a matter of fact. All right, we've got one segment to go. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, driven by Tire Outlet on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Share your life with 1010XL. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Oh, wait. I'm going to take a picture and post it on Facebook. What? Hashtag
1010XL.
ET here, and y'all know how much I like my brown water, but I ain't gonna lie, it gives me headaches sometimes. So my alternative is Brackish Vodka. This gluten-free alternative to Tito's is 100% local, and all monies stays right here in Duval. Not only does Brackish Vodka make you feel good, but when you support Brackish Vodka, you're also helping local charities. Try it side by side with your favorite vodka, and you will taste and smell how natural Brackish Vodka really is. And when you do, remember who sent you. Come on, somebody.
Hey, it's Tony from Tony D's Pizza. If you love our pizza and pasta dishes, let us cater an event for you. Family function or office parties, we can deliver you an amazing Italian meal. Remember, it's not just pizza at Tony D's. Bay Meadows and $2.95.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors. These intense summer storms are a good reminder to visit the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Check out Pella's new Hurricane Shield and Defender series. These amazing windows exceed all coastal requirements for storm protection. Seriously, they can withstand the impact of a 2x4 shot out of a cannon at 50 feet per second. You want quality style and protection? Visit PellaJacks.com and the showroom on Phillips Highway right next to Tesla. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
Come for the fishing, stay for the fun. I'll see you at the captain's meeting for the old school Kingfish Shootout presented by Dailies and Yellowfin. It's coming up Friday at the St. Augustine Fish House, and then the tournament gets underway on Saturday. Old school indeed, with limited boundaries. You got to catch your own live bait. It's taking a Kingfish tournament back to the old school days. You can be a part of it. Not too late to enter. Make sure you get that entry in this week. Just go to oldschoolkingfish.com. And meanwhile, I'll see you for happy hour at the St. Augustine Fish House coming up on Friday.
Cooking with Prisco.
These things are wonderful. You're going to love it. Have a rolling.
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Franchi Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on 1010XL.
What if you could be credit card debt-free in 10 days and save as much as $1,000 a month? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity line of credit program is just what you need. Hey, it's Prosser here. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low monthly payment. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity credit line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan will only cost you around $400 a month. Use that money and pay off high-interest credit cards or do a home improvement project. You can access up to 90% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need an appraisal. So even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Stop the madness. Say no to 24% interest fees. Call Loan Pronto today. 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Or as always, you can visit loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Did you know that many cooling companies are now part of big conglomerates with no connection to Northeast Florida? In the past, they have concentrated on heating and air conditioning, but after a buyout, many add plumbing and electrical services. This raises their overhead, and those costs are passed on to the consumer. It's a case where bigger isn't better, it's just more expensive. Not Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Mike Merritt remains family-owned and operated. Merritt's focus has been the same for more than 30 years, keeping Northeast Florida comfortable, no matter what the weather. And there are no overtime or weekend surcharges. Mike Merritt's team does not work on commission. They repair only what needs repair and offer replacements only on what can't be fixed. And unlike at giant corporations where you can feel like just another number, with Mike Merritt, you'll feel like number one. Florida license CACO 50384.
Jacksonville has some junk, and J-Dog is removing it. They're here to do the dirty work. You don't want to remove and dispose of large furniture or appliances yourself? Call J-Dog. Here now, proudly serving you, removing junk from your home or business. They can even handle small demolition projects, and they're still donating local items to veterans in need. So let J-Dog do the dirty work for you. J-Dog Junk Removal. Veteran-owned and operated. JDog.com.
Picking here. After work's done for the day, I know you like to find your favorite sofa or recliner and watch the game. That's why you gotta call Zero Res this month. At Zero Res this month, tell them I sent you, and you'll get 25% off all upholstery. Zero Res.
Denny Thompson here. Tyson Sound and Security is hiring salespeople right now. If you want to sell new tech security cameras or home automation, Tyson Sound and Security is looking for you. Tyson Sound and Security is hiring for sales positions, and they will train you to be successful. Apply online at TysonSoundandSecurity.com or call 762-1000. That's 762-1000. Hiring for sales positions right now. Apply online at TysonSoundandSecurity.com or call 762-1000. Equal opportunity employer.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
There's something about the way
stilettos, and sabermetrics.
Helmets and Heels, driven by Tire Outlet. Brought to you by Underwood Jewelers.
On 1010XL.
All right, I'm not a Swiftie. I know it's Taylor Swift. I can recognize her voice, but what is the song called?
This would be Fearless.
That makes perfect sense. Based off of our music theme. Songs about fear or facing your fears, because Taylor faced one of her fears, and that is feeding chickens.
Which, by the way,
trapped in a
Taylor,
coop.
The text
feeding
line
chickens.
brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures loved it.
Oh,
I love this one from 1791. I must say, after a long day at work, Taylor just made my day. I listen to 1010 every day. That story was just hilarious.
Oh, I'm glad I can entertain you. Are you not entertained?
Yeah, are you not entertained? I was
This
a
is me
little
in the chicken
concerned
coop.
that because there were maggots referenced and also chicken massacre,
Yeah.
that maybe
People would
some
be
people
upset.
that were eating might have an issue with that. But I'm so glad to see that they loved it. But JJ and I have a request for you, basically a very simple request. We need the video from the chicken coop of you feeding the
I'll
chickens.
ask my aunt if she'll send me the video. Maybe I'll put it up. It might go viral on TikTok, and then I can
100% it would, and then we'll be able to say we knew Taylor Doll back when.
JJ, do you have a fear, like a major fear?
I don't like roller coasters whatsoever. I won't ride them.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm the guy who holds everybody's stuff back in the, you know how like you have to walk through a,
Yes.
like some sort of store after every
Yeah.
single roller coaster now. I'm the guy like outside with a drink and holding everyone's stuff like a purse.
Is there a reason that you don't like them? Like, did anything ever happen?
No, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of heights, but I would never say I'm
okay.
scared of heights.
Okay.
And I'm also not a fan of like fast motion. But I think when you mix the two together, I'm always just like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this, guys?
See, you just.
I'm having fun down here.
I'll be looking at the shot glasses and the store.
Like I understand,
stuffed
I
animals.
guess, the thrill of it, but it's just not for me. It's not for me. I'm a total wuss.
You literally just explained why I don't love flying. I don't
Yeah,
love
but
heights, and I don't like fast motion.
But you can't get anywhere.
I mean, but that doesn't mean I do fly, so I
That's
face
true.
the
That's
fear.
true.
However, I don't like going, honestly, in a car, I don't like going over like 65 miles per hour.
I'm
And
like
that's
that, too.
because I had a flat tire once on a
It's
very fast,
specific time.
Correct.
Amount of.
very fast highway, and that's about the speed I was going when I had the flat tire, and then everyone
Ooh,
flying
that
by
is
me.
scary.
It was terrifying, and I was on 95, and there was no space to go anywhere, and I literally thought about jumping in the St. Johns River. I thought that would be safer than waiting with my car as these little like semis were zooming by.
I'm glad you didn't do that.
I honestly
That
think
would've
I might have
a
been
huge
safer.
mistake.
I'm a good swimmer. I think I would have been fine. However, thankfully, and I call them angels, the Road Ranger appeared, and this brave man just started putting cones where people were flying by, and that caused them to, move a lane over. He was so brave. I was hysterical.
Your whole car shakes.
Oh,
That's happened to me
absolutely.
before too, and it's
yes,
terrifying.
It is absolutely terrifying. There was no emergency lane or anything like that. It was just a small area. But either way, that man, super brave, and I appreciate him for it. And as it turns out, it sounds like I have more fears because I have the I have the bird fear. I have the fear of flying. I haven't been on a roller coaster in a very long time. I do remember as a kid hearing about some child getting decapitated on Space Mountain.
What?
Did y'all hear that?
Yeah, that was like an
long time
age-old
ago. Was it a
story.
myth?
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Because this is before the internet, before you could actually determine if it was real or not.
There is plenty of real stories about people who go back to retrieve a hat or a cell phone or a wallet or something they dropped, and they go under the gate, and then somebody's legs come flying and just take their head off.
Yeah,
And it's
don't leave the
both of them died.
Yeah, leave the item behind.
Yes, you don't need
Move
that
on.
hat, man. You don't.
No, you certainly don't. All right, I want to get it to Swamp Kings, the Netflix. Is it a show or a series?
Cannot wait. I'm
I think
assuming it's like a three-parter.
Because they said
so series.
it was connected to the Monte Teo thing too. So how they did it was like
And
a
his
few
was
parts
what,
of it.
2 parts?
I think his was a 2-parter. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was absolutely fascinating.
Yes.
And I especially learned a ton because I didn't know that much about his story.
This is going to be so much better than that.
See, I'm really close to obviously the Florida program. This was the years that it's taking everyone through and documenting are 2006 to 2009. So I graduated in 2004, but I used to go back to every game in all of 2006 and most of 2007. So I was around the team a lot as far as being a fan, certainly not in the locker room and things like that. But I'm fascinated to see what direction they take and who they interview.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
there's
are they
gonna
saying
be-
we're
I-
getting Urban, right?
Well, so
do we know that for sure?
We took you a little behind the curtain on XL Primetime yesterday. I wasn't there yet because I was at OTAs, but Matt Hayes was approached to be in the Netflix
A long time
series.
ago.
A long time
Okay.
ago. So it may not actually be this iteration. It was another one. But they were looking to not pay. They were looking for free interviews, and so he was like, I'm not about to give all this information I was privy to up just for free. So they certainly were looking at reporters that were in the area and covering the team and covering college football.
I would
at the
expect
time.
out of the 100+ players that were part of the program, it's going to be pretty damn easy to get some of those guys to talk.
Oh, for
You
sure.
think Tebow's going to talk?
Maybe not the big name guys, no. But, I mean, there's enough players that know everything that happened. Like, I could see...
I'm pulling up the roster.
I
just
could
to-
see plenty of guys that might not be big names be in the documentary that we all know, and we know they're not lying. You know, like, even guys that played in the NFL that now aren't. Like, I could see Percy being in the documentary.
Yeah, I can see
Pouncy's
that.
Percy.
The Pouncy's
Yeah.
will do it.
Absolutely,
I mean, to
man.
me, you can't do a documentary like this without interviewing Urban
Yeah.
Meyer, without interviewing Tim Tebow. Those guys that we just mentioned, certainly a lot of the defensive players, Carlos Dunlap among
I was
them.
just gonna say Dunlap,
Yeah.
Joe Hayden. I mean,
Right.
he's still in the league.
There's a lot of
Cam Newton.
name recognition. Yeah, I don't think he'd be a factor because he was gone pretty soon.
But
I bet he'll
that
be
was a
mentioned.
story.
I
Yeah.
guarantee it'll be
Yeah.
a mention.
The
Just
laptop,
to show,
yeah.
like, what a mess everything was.
He stole a laptop, then he threw it out of a window.
Yeah,
for
and it
people who
had his
missed
name on it.
Yeah, that would be like me. Yeah, throwing. I used to have a 1010XL issued laptop, and it literally had Lauren Brooks.
They're like, wonder whose
on
this
it.
is.
Yeah, and oh,
My
by the way,
favorite-
even if it doesn't have your name on it, they can figure it out thanks to whatever drive is in there.
My favorite dumb Cam story is
Yes.
when he got his Twitter hacked and his password was MVP01.
No way.
Which
Oh my
was-
God.
He just won the MVP and that was his number.
That's fantastic. One local.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be
One
password.
local connection, perhaps. You think they'll ask Stamper, who obviously now works in the front office for your Jacksonville Jaguars?
Anybody that has anything to lose, I feel like, is not.
Yeah.
Like Urban at this point has nothing to lose.
You would think.
Tebow is so far removed from all that and is revered as a person who does a lot of really good things. So I don't think he has anything.
And
necessarily
Urban
to
T
lose.
might be doing it to think like, hey, I'm going to try to get in front of it. I'm going to try to
Right.
defend as much as possible what
Tate
was
Casey
happening
even
there.
was on that team, too. I forgot. He was a senior on the 07
Yeah,
team.
and Tate does sidelines for Florida football,
he
so
wouldn't.
he's still around the program now. So yeah, I mean, it all depends, I suppose, on what angles they take and what they're really trying to uncover. I mean, what do they
I
have
know what
footage
angle they're going
of?
to take. It was an absolute
much mess.
crazy
Yeah.
mess, but they were amazing on the field. We
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
Percy like sleeping with coaches' wives and beating people up, and just like that's the angle.
But
we know
also-
that's the angle. Aaron Hernandez, like allegedly shooting at people, and Rainey telling his girlfriend to die, and we know exactly what angle. And I am so ready for this.
I know.
There's
It's gonna
also
be good.
part of it, though,
Juicy.
JJ. You look at The Last Dance, and there were people who said, well, the problem with The Last
That was
Dance.
a Jordan documentary. though.
Bingo.
This is.
You
I
think this is
just
completely
Netflix,
independent? You
or-
don't think that there's any chance that Urban could say,
is on the side of it?
hey,
Urban documentary.
include this or spin it to this angle? Or I mean, the fact that the University of Florida is going to be depicted, I would assume somebody had to sign off on it in Gainesville.
I just remember the U documentary, and it was very independent. It was just, whatever the documentary filmmaker decided it. So I don't think this is a PR thing at all. I think it's going to be pretty bad.
I do wonder, because most of us have heard all the stories like JJ's referring to. Are we going to? as
We
being-
know the stories.
Yeah,
but,
as being
like,
as close to Gainesville as we are we going to learn anything from the documentary?
hopefully.
Or is it more for people who are, national college football fans and not necessarily a Florida fan?
Or it happened
Well-
so long ago. I mean, you could have forgot a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I think as we were talking about the Teo one too, like obviously being a Notre Dame fan, I followed along with that very closely, and I
Mhm.
still was learning stuff, and there was still like little details that you didn't realize, or the intent, like the intensity of certain things. So it may be more of those situations where maybe it's like stories we heard, but there's pieces of them that were like, oh, we didn't know that person was involved, or we didn't know how much that person was involved, how much was Urban aware of, and like all of those things may be more of like the side they're taking.
And see, the thing with the Manti Te'o one is he's going to be as forthcoming as possible because he wants you to understand exactly what happened and why he believed her and all those things. That's my question. Like, who's getting interviewed?
Who's
and-
that person?
Right.
Yeah.
And who is going to divulge what? And so, did they all come together? Did they all call each other beforehand and be like, do not say X, Y, and Z on the Netflix documentary. I do not want that getting out, right? Like,
But there'll be somebody
question.
if they are paying these guys. There's going to be someone who hasn't been maybe in the league, and that's like whatever. I'll tell you anything.
And that doesn't get along
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
there's
true.
plenty of teammate infighting, and there's plenty of people that feel like they were spurned by the college they went to and stuff
Mhm.
like that, and the former coach. Or that's what I was saying. The team is so big in football. It's
Yeah.
not like a basketball team where you might have like maybe 15 guys on the roster or whatever. This is so huge, and it was 4 years or however long it was.
Yeah, it was 4 years.
You know, there's got to be walk-ons.
Only 4?
You know, walk-ons that even know all the stuff that happened.
Well, Urban was the coach longer than that, but the time frame that the documentary
Is
spans
4
is
years.
4 years because it's the first national championship in 06. He got there in 05. Then 07's Tebow's Heisman year, but the team wasn't quite as good. And that's the promise speech and all that. And again, who knows what they'll get into. 08 is the next national championship when Florida beat Oklahoma. And then 09 is when Florida lost to Alabama in the SEC championship game. And, of course, it wasn't
Dang, it
able
might
go
have
on.
to be more than 3 parts.
Yeah, with all
Or
those
2 parts. That seems lengthy. I'm here for it, though.
It's like maybe 4 because they're covering 4
4
like 4
years,
episodes,
yeah.
4 years.
When's it supposed to come out?
August 23rd.
Yeah.
That I have circled on my calendar. Now that Ted Lasso's over, which is the feel-good show, I'm going to get into Swamp Things.
Perfect timing, like right before training camp will be starting, so it'll give us that last little push.
Right before, well, it'll be right preseason.
I mean, sorry, preseason.
Yeah. Right, when football's boring.
Yeah.
Training camp, exciting. Preseason
Yeah.
games, not nearly as exciting. Mia, we have time for one quick story as far as women's college basketball is concerned.
Oh, I got a kick out of this
Caitlin
one.
Clark.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark threw out the first pitch at the Iowa Cubs game on Sunday, and people were reportedly lining up at 6 a.m. because she was doing a meet and greet beforehand, and they wanted her autograph.
And what time was first pitch?
3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, my goodness.
Holy cow.
So, since I know so many of you indulge in my Iowa women's basketball and women's basketball at large discussion, I wanted to pivot it to a more broad question of what is the craziest commitment you've made to get an autograph from an athlete, professional athlete, or a singer, since I know we have some music fans here sitting at 1010XL headquarters.
I've never done anything like that. Like,
Yeah.
I've never waited in line. I've had the chance to talk to musicians after shows, and I could care less. I literally, like, that part of the interaction as far as athletes go, or that part of the interest as far
fan
as music goes,
experience.
Yeah.
I'm terrible.
Yeah, I don't even think I have an autograph, honestly. Like, I have pictures with people, but it's more of a thing like where I'd run into somebody and get the picture, and it was that type of thing. Even that, the most famous is probably Mike Ditka that I have a picture with that I had to, like, go approach, and that was the most awkward situation because I hate bothering people. So I was like, I'm so sorry for interrupting your dinner, but I have to get this picture.
I have a picture with Cam Newton because I was at since we were just talking about him, Super Bowl media days.
Okay.
That might be one of the more famous people.
But how long did you wait to take said picture?
I didn't have to wait at all because he came to where we were. And
Yeah.
so I just said, hey, I think it was Dempsey, like, hey, will you take a picture of us, please? And I'll never forget, though, like, I put my hand on Cam Newton's back. And to this day, I've never felt someone's back that was, like, that rock solid. Like,
Really?
legit, like, it, like, felt like I was touching,
brick
like,
wall.
a rock.
Brick
Yeah,
wall.
yeah, I was like, holy cow, what are you doing in the gym? I thought you were a quarterback. What about you?
I can safely say the most prized autograph I have was in fact a ball that Tom Flash Gordon, gave me at a Mets game that I was in attendance. It was a Mets-Phillies game that my parents' alma mater, they had the Alumni Association there. But Tom Flash Gordon did not sign it. I had Mr. Met sign it. And, and that is the extent of the autographs that I own in my possession.
There you go. Let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet. Keeping the rubber on the road with wholesale prices and premium service. Tire Outlet, Jacksonville's largest locally owned automotive repair shop.
Rick, are you excited about the Stadium of the Future coming tomorrow?
The what?
The Stadium of the Future.
I am. I'm more excited about Flash. You know, Flash was kind of like Eckersley. He was a starter and became a closer, then went back to being a starter.
When it was him and Paul Quantrill, those were the
Tom
glory
Gordon.
days of the 2000 Yankees that no one talks about.
I'm not a huge, like, as far as architecture and stuff like that. Are you guys going tomorrow? Is that big of a deal?
Well, no, I don't think it's in person.
It's just
Yeah.
social. Social only.
See, I never get invited to these things. I figured you three were going.
No, I didn't get the email. You didn't hear?
No, I did. I saw it.
Yeah,
But you only want to hear from people who didn't get it.
Correct.
I actually got
So
that
you
one.
did get the email.
But it was no invitation. I was like...
No, it's just go to firstdowntownjacksonville.com
Yeah.
or look at the social channels.
Hey, man, listen, it's all exciting. It's all great. I mean, people are going to go crazy because there's going to have to be funding.
Mm-hmm.
But it comes down to simply, do you want a football team or do you not want a football team? And
I said on
Do
the
you
air.
want the city
Yeah.
to grow?
That's
or
what
do
I
you want
said.
the city to...
Do you want to
Yeah.
be Toledo? Do you want to be Birmingham? Like
Yeah.
that's what you're staring down the barrel of if you say no.
winning fixes everything. You got the coach, you got the quarterback, you got the team. So right now it's the time to get this done. So I think it's just another continuation of everything that's been great for the Jaguars during the offseason. So, I'm actually more looking for more. You won't be able to do it because you'll be on the air, but talk to those position coaches will be a lot of fun late in the afternoon tomorrow. Got some really good information last year. You know, sometimes you think you're not going to get much, but
Sure.
I remember Deshae Townsend. They had 9 takeaways last year, and they went to 27. And I tried to pick his brain. How do you force takeaways? Well, the obvious thing is be in the right position or find a way to hammer the ball, the running back going through the line of scrimmage. But still, I mean, I've never really heard a breakdown of how do you force more takeaways. And Deshae Townsend, the passing game coordinator and defensive backs coach, was very thorough on that. And look what happened. They tripled it 1 year. Incredible. So I'm fired about that coming up on Wednesday. More fired up about tonight. What a day. Groundbreaking day in sports. So JJ and I are going to have it for the late night, folks. We're just blessed to come on after you three.
I have a feeling you'll get it to golf.
Yes, that's gonna be a blast. And the only thing I'll say about that is, this is one of these days where the story came out at what 9:30 or when I got out of bed.
10:02. I was
Okay.
locked out of my house, sitting in my driveway.
I got it, and it was knee jerk, but it's now 8 o'clock. I've had so much time to digest and read and listen and think. I'm going to be very long-winded on this tonight, but just let me say this. For all of those who hate it and are going crazy, ask yourself where you'll be come March. Think of yourself right here, right now, in early June, and then think about where you will be when this event comes to Jacksonville again with the players in March, and see if your opinion will change from now to then. I have a feeling a lot of people will, but that's just me.
I see your producer sitting there in the producer cave. He already knows where he'll be in March. Look at the
Where's he
noggin. His head's in the right place,
Oh,
if you know what I mean.
absolutely.
I
was
can't see
there
the hat. I
last
can't see
year.
the.
The
Of
players?
course.
Player's hat.
Oh,
I'll be
is
there
that a
next
player's
year.
hat?
Absolutely. It's
I mean,
very
it's all decorated out
floral,
and-
yes.
I thought you were taking that with you on your honeymoon or something. It's like a
I just
tropical
might,
hat.
actually.
It is tropical.
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
thanks,
guys.
Greg.
Thank you.
We'll be
I'm
listening.
actually not allowed to wear this hat during the show. I'll take it off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just too feminine for the show.
Oh. Well, during helmets and heels, we'll
Well,
let
you
you
guys
wear
are
that hat.
taking that very literally. I was joking.
All right. Don't go anywhere. Into the Night with Rick Ballou comes up next from Mia O'Brien for Taylor Dahl for JJ LaSelva. I'm Lauren Brooks. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night.
I have a very specific set of skills.
Who are you?
My name is 1010XL.
What?
Wait.
Wait.
Good luck.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, presented by FIS, is home this week at 1-to-1 Financial Ballpark. Tonight is